Hi, I am self-publishing Sue.
And I am traditional Jody.
I'm Sue Collier, and I'm a self-publishing expert and co-author of The Complete Guide to Self-Publishing 5th edition.
And I'm Jody Ryan, and I'm a literary agent, and I was an executive editor for a long time in New York. So what we hope to do here is every video we're going to take one book or one idea and look at the central question that the author has, and we'll try our best to answer it. So without further ado, the first book that we are going to be analyzing is
Devil's Den by Tim Ashby.
Hi Jody, hi Sue. I'm Tim Ashby. I'm the self-published author of Devil's Den, a historical thriller, and I'm at a professional crossroads. I've successfully self-published the book, but would now like to submit it to a traditional house. So I need to know, what are the next steps? Jody, Sue, am I ready?
a lot of authors don't realize that you really have to look at the realities not only of your own dreams, but of the marketplace out there when you're making your publishing decisions. For Tim Ashby, who wants to know, am I ready yet to be traditionally published? We boiled it down to 5 general areas that we think he should consider.
First, desire. Second, genre. Third, talent. 4, traction. And 5, other stuff.
And for Tim, desire means, does he want to continue the hard work of being a self-publisher? The answer to that is clearly, no, he wants to stop. And in self-publishing, you need to have a very strong drive if you want to publish your own book.
You have to be a publisher, not just an author. You have to be a publisher. You have to be a marketer. Publishing is a lot of work.
It's a business.
Yeah.
The first category of information we looked at for Tim was his own desire. What are his goals? Goal setting is crucial when you're deciding how you want to bring your book to the world.
Okay, let's talk about the genre of the book. How well do you think this would fit in with the traditional publishing model?
In some ways, the traditional house may be better positioned to help Tim reach his market because his audience actually is comprised of a couple of different and discrete yet very identifiable segments. Because the murder victim is it's a series of Civil War veterans. There's, a very large audience of people out there who are interested in all things Civil War, both fiction and nonfiction.
Absolutely.
And at the same time, the story is actually set in the 1920s, which, with the popularity of Downton Abbey, there's just a lot happening out there, a lot of interest in this fascinating time between World War I and World War II.
But on the other hand, this book would lend itself very well to self-publishing going the e-route, the e-book route, I think.
You think that he should keep on self-publishing?
I think possibly, yeah.
For genre, it was a close call for us. We thought that Tim could successfully publish either with a traditional house or he could continue to self-publish based on his genre. But we thought ultimately that the scales tilted a little bit toward more traditional publishing. His book Devil's Den is not only a historical suspense, but it's also has a literary aspect to it and a market that may take more clout to define. Self-publishers, on the other hand, the more specific your market, the easier it is for you to plan your marketing strategy on your own without the muscle of a big house.
So, which leads us to the third item on our list is, does he have talent?
So,
Yeah,
it's a good story.
It's a really good story.
Yay, talent!
Where'd you get this shit?
My son's bar mitzvah.
Of course.
These authors work hard. You want to give them cheer?
Okay.
Support? All right. Talent. You may have noticed that we didn't go into great detail on the content of Tim's book and the quality of his writing. We really don't have time for that here. But we do want to stress that in addition to the quality of the writing, its rhythm, its ability to transport you, the writing also has to be appropriate for its genre. Now, the biggest thing on our list, what we call Traction.
Yes.
Traction means, has the author established himself and the book in terms of a brand and velocity of sales? Is he selling enough books to get a traditional publisher's attention?
Well, from what I understand, he's sold several thousand copies of this book. That's pretty good.
It's great if you're a self-publisher, but it's not enough books to really grab the attention of a traditional house. I'm sorry. You know, another factor, another really important factor in assessing whether or not your book, your self-published book, will attract the attention of a traditional house is velocity of sales. So it's not just how many copies someone has
This is
sold,
true.
but
Good
is
point.
the book continuing to sell? Are the sales increasing every month? Can you document it? Also, what is the price of the book? Have the books have you started selling a ton of copies because you dropped the price to 99 cents as an ebook, or because you're giving it away for free? You know, a traditional house is going to look at all that information in making its decisions.
Yeah, good points. There are a lot of intangibles to consider with every book. One of the problems with this book, I think, is it's not positioned correctly for its market. The cover design, for instance, doesn't really show what the book is about. It makes it look like it's a Civil War novel when actually it's set in the 1920s, but it has something to do with the Civil War, but it is not a Civil War novel, and that's what the cover kind of makes it look like. It's not an attention-getting cover at this point. If you see this in thumbnail size, you're going to have a very hard time telling what the image is. You're going to have a hard time reading the text. It needs to really pop and attract attention, and it doesn't do that right now.
Well, the scales have been pretty even on both sides up until now. Traction and other stuff. If you've self-published your book, you've given yourself another huge task that you have to accomplish before submitting your work to an agent. You have to establish an audience for your book. You have to prove that since the book is out there, there is a market. Otherwise, no matter what the quality of the writing, a publisher can look at what you've done and say, gee, there's not really an audience for that book. Remember, you don't only have to prove sales, you also have to show that your book is continuing to sell in increased numbers in order for publishers to believe that your book has, quote-unquote, legs, that your market will continue to grow, and that they can actually multiply your sales enough to make it financially attractive to both parties. Our final category, other stuff. There are always so many variables to consider when you're thinking about which path to take in publishing. In Tim's case, we looked at his book and we thought he had not positioned it correctly. We think that there's a whole world out there of readers that he hasn't begun to tap. Okay, it's time for the bottom line. Tim asked us, am I ready yet? He's currently self-publishing. He wants to know, am I ready for traditional publishing? So we're going to take a look at our super high-tech reality check and figure it out. So,
To self.
the first to self,
Or not self.
or not self. Right.
Is Devil's Den ready to submit to major publishers? Our bottom line, not quite. This book has a lot going for it, but the brand and current sales will get in the way of acquisition at traditional houses. So for this promising historical thriller, stick with self. However, if the author begins thinking very strategically about his market position and increasing his velocity of sales, we believe he has an excellent shot at finding a home with a major house. Tim Ashby, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to share our thoughts on your work, and thank you everyone for watching. We welcome your emailed topic suggestions and comments, and we wish you the best of luck on your path to publication.